Hello, this is Monday Night Get Nuked. I am thirsty and I should be playing the entire world. And over there, yes, over there, is my shiny, shiny crew who will be playing everyone else and the ones that die. So, before we gallop on with the night's festivities, I will ask Kerone, what are the rules for chat for all those fellows out in Chatland?
Oh, I was gonna leave it to someone else to.
No, you weren't.
Oh, okay. As you've asked so nicely. The rules for
Please.
chat. They are: don't be at all about someone's gender, don't be at all about someone's race, and most importantly, don't be a blur.
Or a screwdriver.
Yay!
Thank you very much,
Happy
Kerone.
days.
Thank you for oh so much. So yes, as you may have guessed, we have Kerone once again over there drinking tea, which is always good audio. So for those of you who cannot remember, because it was a very, very, very long time ago, our wonderful crew have started out in Ooze Town, where some people had gone missing. And one of them was our beloved friend's associate from a crew that they'd been on. And they went and investigated, and things occurred, and people died, and buildings burned, and prostitutes were murdered. Children were paid in letters of their own names being taught to them for menial tasks that endangered their lives in the machinations of drug lords. And prisoners who were meant to get captured were instead mutilated and freed. And lots of fire. A general running motif of fire. So they ended up at sea, where they started another fire. This time on a boat.
What are the chances?
Yes. And currently, our wonderful Lilth is the other side of an enormous fire that she started from everyone else, and they're all of the opinion she's dead. I think she's of the opinion that they're dead also. So, before we go any further, we should really be introduced to the players. Because, I've been talking for a while now. So, who's going to jump in and introduce themselves? I think someone should.
Okay. I am Eivor. I should be playing Zeke of the Four Pints, the most gallant and brave individual in the land. And by no means a coward who runs off at the first signs of danger to leave his compatriots. And we'll hopefully be finding Anita tonight, but we shall see.
How many pieces will you find her in?
So long as Jerry's okay, Zeke is okay too.
That's not what you said when his shoulder was shattered, but fair enough. Right. So, moving on. Who next shall throw themselves into the limelight? Or do I have to pick someone?
Go on. Yes, so I am Spanners. I am playing Timi, who last time made a friend. So we are currently on a raft, which is being pushed quite fast, I believe, towards the boat by our new friend Schmoopy.
Oh, he's actually pushed you all the way to the boat and winched you back up.
That's right. He's basically our heavily armoured, very useful, very strong new friend who's not entirely very bright. And the last thing that I have written in my notes here is slightly worrying because it's where's Jerry?
There we go.
There we are. So,
hello, I'm Kerone, and I will be playing Lamb, who is currently a bit concerned about everything ever, I think would be the best thing to do it. He's had a bit of adventures of throwing himself down into a lifeboat and going at very fast speed down to the sea, and then coming back up again, and yeah.
He's been dipped
That's
a few
that.
times, as I recall.
Yeah, 5 hit points. That's all I've got left.
Good to know. I'll remember that.
Thanks.
That's all right.
'Cause I'll forget.
Right, and last but by no means least, we have
Lilth?
the only brightly lit person. Ah.
Yeah, well, hotel rooms, they're great. I'm Lilth. I'm playing Anita the Rotter, who has a thing for alcohol and likes to deal semi-legal drugs. She likes to help people. And may or may not have blown up part of the boat that she is now currently stuck on.
Yeah. Yes. So, to revisit the scene, there was a certain jar of high explosive sort of gel that you'd been given by the Doishi Salties, who had asked you to clear out this boat of its crew and presumably bring the boat back. You'd hope.
It's still floating.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the bringing the boat back thing was more implicit than explicit, but you were asked to get rid of the crew, in particular. And you've chosen to do this, apparently, by witnessing the fact there are enormous quantities of explosives on board, and then setting off a bomb.
Yay!
Which, at the time, a rather nice man with a very heavy accent was holding. And you blew an 8-foot hole in the side of this boat.
We can mend it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
setting up.
there is still sort of 12 feet down from that hole, but there's a considerably sized cherry red hole in this steel boat.
That does nothing like setting off explosives next to a magazine.
Yeah. Also, the deck of this boat is soaked with oil and filth.
Yay.
Yeah. So, we come back to... Oh, who should we come back to? Screw it. We're going to come back to Anita. She's climbed up back over the railing.
Yep.
I think that's where we were. You just announced, oh God, they're all dead. And you're standing between sort of the bridge of this boat. You know, the sort of, I never know exactly what to call it. I sailed for years and I never know what the bloody hell to call it.
Wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's it. The large sort of wheelhouse bit on the back of this sort of freighter. To your immediate right, there is a large cherry red hole leading to below decks. Not to the water, but to below decks. That's very, very hot. And the other side of that, there's a lot of fire. On your side, just sort of, this side of that hole, there is a little bit of fire. It's just sort of, it's struggling to take hold. It's damp. Most of the oil and shit's over there where they put things, as opposed to here where important people might walk. But yes, the fire is definitely spreading up the front of the wheelhouse.
This is not good.
No.
And there's no way I can get past the fire?
You could jump down the hole. You could go for a swim in the deadly, toxic, corrosive water. There doesn't appear to be a way around the wheelhouse to the back. Just...
Okay.
They've piled shite up behind it. Yeah, as you recall, when you were sailing in on your boat, the outside of this boat looked quite attractive. It was panelled in lots of brightly coloured things that had been painted very nicely. The inside of the boat, however, is an absolute wreck. The back, it looks like this is where they kept all of the spare plates, just piled up against the back of the wheelhouse. Which isn't entirely sensible, but hey, it's what they did. So yes.
Is there a way into the wheelhouse?
Oh yeah. There are doors and hatches and God knows what.
In that case, let's go have a look in the wheelhouse.
Excellent. As you're standing there, fire here, smoke, tons and tons, tons of goddamn smoke. Far more smoke than you really want to think about. There is one door sort of almost directly ahead of you, it's slightly off to your left, and there is a smaller hatch further back that goes down into the deck. So you have a choice.
Okay. Do I recall seeing any hatches at the other side of the hull?
I didn't mention any.
Didn't Schmoopy appear out of one?
That was basically where you just obliterated with a bomb.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. It's probably why there's an 8-foot hole in the boat, because there was a natural weakness in the deck.
Fair enough. I am gonna head down into the bows of the ship to try and find my way back up on the other side of the fire.
So you're going to go down the hatch rather than through the door?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you see back, there's a hatch. It's big old rusty hatch. The whole deck's pretty much fucking awful. It's less oily back here, but it's still gritty and corroded and crap. There is one of those locking wheels on this hatch. Do you want to give it a try? Well, how do you want to try and defeat this wheel puzzle, if you will? And you haven't actually tried it.
Yeah, I'll try it first, just to see if it'll unlock.
Yeah, it turns a little. There's a bit of wiggle room on it, but it's it's kind of like when the steering wheel lock is on a car. You can wiggle it a bit, but it doesn't go anywhere really.
Okay. There's lots of oil on the deck.
Yes, lots of gritty old oil.
Can I dip something in the oil and rub it onto the wheel to try and lubricate it a bit?
You could try.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Most of this oil is more of the sort of the gritty sort of tarry variety. Of old oil that's been stomped into mud and salt for a very long time.
Might not be a good idea.
So it's got sort of questionable lubricant value.
Are there any long metal poles or something like that?
There is a railing around the outside of the boat.
How attached is that railing?
I dare say there are people who feel very fondly towards it, but if you want to try and leverage it, it's there's a fucking great hole in it over there, so
yeah,
there's probably some brackets that are gone.
I want to grab a length of the railing then, and I want to use that as a lever to try and lever the hatch open.
Okay, you're going to advance back towards the fire.
Carefully.
Yeah. And sort of find the hot end.
No, the cold end.
Well, you get to find the hot end because that's where it's loose. You don't just mean you're going to grab it, but
Yeah.
That's the bit you've got to sort of pull. Yeah, you find a section there. It's just past. You judge from where the brackets are on this. It's just past where one would have been, but it's long gone. There's just sort of probably about 4 feet of pole sticking from one upright towards the next one that's no longer there.
Cool.
I mean, how do you want to try and attain this pole? It's still attached at one end.
Carefully. I want to try and pull it.
So straight strength then. Give me a straight strength.
Because I am so strong.
Mm.
That would be a 6.
Yeah. It wiggles. It's warm. It's not. One end is uncomfortably warm. The end near sort of where it's still attached is just is more comfortable. Let's just put it that way. You can touch it without hurting. It's quite clearly attached by one of those irritating like Allen key style bolts through a joint at this end. But,
Okay, in that case.
But you know, you're probably carrying a fair degree of junk and crud by this point. You've probably got something you can ram into that and try and twist. Most of these railings are pretty corroded. You know, you've got like drugs and kit like that. You've probably got like an old junkie spoon or something.
Quite probably.
Yeah. You just like ram the handle of the spoon in and like see what happens. In the way that everyone does when they're confronted with a screw or bolt they can't do. You just ram an object in and see if you can make it turn.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, you pull out. Right, you pull out like a rather grand old like silver soup spoon. Like one side is like thoroughly like filthed up with like kind of like lamp black, where someone's clearly held it over a lighter. And you turn it around and you jam the handle into this thing and you start twisting, and the silver crumples. Like this rather nice like engraved silver spoon like crumples and scrunches down a bit and sort of fills the gap. And when you twist it, the bolt just comes out. It snaps.
Hey.
It twists about 2/3 of the way out and then snaps, and the pole just starts to sag.
Cool. In that case, I now try and take that pole again.
Yeah, you actually you're gonna grab it sharpish. It's about to fall in the water, but yeah, you grab it. You have about 4 foot of pole. In sort of their. Sort of in the set of the mould of like scaffolding pole.
Cool.
About 4 foot of scaff pole.
In that case, I'm going to use that as a lever.
Excellent. You jam that on into the wheel and
give
it a bash. Are you going to try and turn it clockwise or anti-clockwise?
What's the old thing? Lefty loosey, righty tighty. So, anti-clockwise.
Okay. Give me another. Alright, I'll let you take a tech use because you are using engineering. You're using simple engineering principles.
Cool, that's slightly better. That's an 8.
Hey. Okay. The wheel turns a little. I'm not going to lie. The sounds aren't particularly pleasant. It's not very encouraging. It only does like a quarter turn further than where you could take it previously, but it's going. It's definitely going that way. And you struggle for a few moments, and finally the wheel just spins until it hits the other side, sort of thing. It goes clang, and the wheel kind of bends off a bit. You've levered it forward. It's stopped, and then it's gone bam. And the wheel is now twisted all the way, and then clearly sort of the thread it's onto, it sort of skipped over. It's doubtful this hatch will ever seal again, but it's definitely open.
Bonus, I head down the hatch.
Excellent. You dive down into the inky darkness of below decks.
Yep.
Alright. Everyone else. You've just been pulled up by Schmoopy on the old lifeboat hoist. I can't recall if you've got off of the raft yet, but Zeke last session had the last line of you guys by shouting for Anita, and there is an awful lot of smoke and fire, and it's blowing in your direction. The winds are coming off the seas towards you.
I think Zeke being the person that he is would head towards the stern of the ship, still shouting Anita as he goes.
Okay. You wander off. What's everyone else doing? Schmoopy is just standing by this windlass with his glasses and peaked cap. No, I seem to recall last time he was sitting there going, "I am way cool."
Lamb
felt
walks
really
off in the opposite direction.
Okay, you
and-
walk towards the fire. It's
Oh.
fiery.
Well, maybe not quite that far.
It's very fiery. Before the fire is the smoke. If it's any consolation, you can't see most of the fire.
Okay. So Zeke walked away from the fire.
Yeah.
I'll go alongside the fire to the left, calling for Anita.
Okay, you... Let's say for the sake of ease, you have about 15 metres to the stern of the boat, which is where Zeke's wandered off towards the gigantic pile of discarded metal plates, piled up against the back of the wheelhouse. And you have maybe 10 to the left before essentially just a wall of smoke really envelops all vision in earnest. I mean, things aren't particularly clear in that little 25-metre stretch, but, you know, things are possible. Breathing, for one.
Hold my breath, run as far as I can before it being too dangerous. Shout Anita's name and then run back.
Right. Okay. What you're going to do is give me a physical endurance. What everyone else is going to do is give me a D4 roll to see how many meters you run.
Oh, God.
And if you run more than, say, I don't know, 15, you're going to run into fire.
3.
2. 2.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Okay, yeah. You run into the smoke. It blinds you. It clogs your nose. It envelops you completely. And just before your lungful of air gives out, you notice there's a change in the colour of the smoke, the nature of the light, you might say. And you start to realise you're drawing very close to a very hot fire. The dense black smoke starts to sort of show shades of orange and sparks, and you gather it's time to turn around. Give me another physical endurance. You need to run out. You need to run out. Your lungs have now given out. You have no more air.
I didn't give you my last physical endurance, did I?
I thought you said 8. Someone said
10,
a number that wasn't. No, someone said a number that isn't on a D4.
Okay, and now I got 16.
Yeah, that's cool then. Yeah,
So I think I'm all right.
Yeah.
I've been scared enough to be all right.
Yeah, you've run into the smoke. You've basically seen some fire and gone and run back out. Yeah,
Lamb making that noise.
Timi and Schmoopy, you see Lamb leg it back out of the fire, sort of smouldering a little bit, and fall on his face, and crawl the last 5 meters, in the fresh air. You're soot blackened now. There are certain places where you just wouldn't be accepted in polite company, like any good restaurant. But yeah, you now look more like a coal miner, or a fireman than anything else. So yeah, you've learnt your lesson about fire and smoke. Right. So, what is Timi doing?
Okay. Right, so Timi has a plan. What is Schmoopy wearing?
Schmoopy, I seem to recall, we established he was wearing jorts that have hulls burning in them from immersion in the water.
Okay.
And he's got a kind of pink right hand from it being immersed in the water too.
So what what Timi's going to do, she is going to take a small section of what's left of Schmoopy's top and kind of rip it a little bit and just say to Schmoopy, don't worry, trust me. And it's just, she's going to rip a long enough strip to tell Schmoopy to just tie it around his face to protect from the smoke. And then
you do so. You step forward. You grab like the last few shreds of his terribly overstretched Hello Kitty top, and you like rip the oh god, I said trademark character. You rip the small cute cat like cartoon creature. You rip its legs off. And you instruct him. You show him basically what you want him to do. And okay, I'm gonna wear a really cool mask. Oh, Kitty. He ties it on.
That's
He's
okay,
looking a little.
because she made Kitty a bit melty anyway. She's then going to remove, remembering that she the Kelplar. She's going to remove the Kelplar armor and hand it to Schmoopy and show, sort of in a patting motion, that she wants Schmoopy to go towards the fire and use the Kelplar, because it would be fireproof, to try and dampen down some of the flames to try and make a path so that we can get through it. Almost like a kelpie fire blanket.
How do we establish that Kelplar was fireproof?
Well, you could shoot it, so I'm assuming that you can't burn it if a bullet won't go through it. Because surely if your bullet can't go through it, then it would have to have some kind of fire resistance. Because if it doesn't have fire resistance and the bullet's going to hit it, it's going to transfer that energy, and the energy is going to burst in flames.
Yeah, unless it melts.
Science, bitches.
Unless it melts. But yeah.
Science is on our side.
True. There we are. So, yes. You have given him a rather lumpy Kelplar fire blanket. It's still got the Kelpramic plates in it. So essentially you're getting him to flail the fire to death with a jacket that kind of looks like when an adult's trying to get a kid to put their coat on for school. Like, he's huge, holding like a comically undersized coat. I suppose the best comparison would be exactly that: a parent trying to get a kid to put on their jacket. So yeah, he's like, he looks a little confused. He just says, like, "There's water."
But the water melted you. How do we know the water's not going to have something in it that's foul?
Okay. And without further ado, Schmoopy lets out a blood-curdling roar and runs towards the fire, attempting to attack it at vaguely shoulder height with his new flail.
Yeah.
And he vanishes into the smoke. You continue to hear grunts and roars. Yeah. So Schmoopy's in the smoke. Right. So, Zeke, you've run off to the back of the boat. You're shouting, "Anita!" the whole time. There is a very large roaring fire, not so very far away. It's kind of, crackling, and every so often there's little like pops and bangs. Zeke, you're aware, because you looked, that there is a very large open gun bay on deck, and it's stacked with packets of explosive powder and globs of sort of what you presume to be explosive, some manner of explosive jelly. So your decision to run to the stern is quite clever. Is that the motivating factor for you running to the stern, or are you actually looking for Anita?
I think the sort of motivation falls into a little of column A and a little of column B. He knows that if Anita is towards the front of the ship, that she is essentially toast. So the safe bet to finding Anita is to head towards the stern.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, you head towards the stern. You don't hear any reply as of yet. And you finally come to like the rear rail, and basically all that there is to your left now. You've passed the back wall of the wheelhouse. There is just a pile of metal plates. Most of them have been painted. Most of them are clearly parts of other ships' hulls that have been scavenged. But they are literally lashed to the back of the wheelhouse and the deck, like right up and over the back rail.
I think at this point Zeke would realise that 3 heads are better than 2. And
so he gets Jerry out of the bag?
He sort of fishes Jerry out and goes, "Look, buddy, I know it's been tough the last couple of weeks, but I need you to do me a favour. I need you to hop on over this pile of stuff and see if you can find Anita, and if you can, bring her here."
Jerry just looks at you. He has no clue. That's a lot for him to process. He has 2 brains, but less intelligence than you're crediting him with.
Yeah. I think with that, he goes, "Find Anita, bring here."
Yeah. And without and yeah, Jerry hops off of your hand and starts swarming up one of the cables. And when he gets to the top of the wheelhouse, he just kind of looks down at you and says, "Yeah." It looks like he's decided to go far away from the fire.
I think Zeke will just go over there, Anita, and sort of gesture at the vague area on the other side for Jerry to have a look.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Jerry vanishes across the roof of the wheelhouse. And you presumably you stand there for a little while waiting for him to come back. You hear something that might be Jerry's call, but it comes at the same time as one of the big cracks from further up on the boat. And after a few moments, it occurs to you that either Jerry has got a better offer and not come back, as has happened before, or he's found something and he's staying there.
So you say that these metal plates are sort of lashed to the wheelhouse, essentially.
Yeah.
I think Zeke would attempt to pick his way through, like grabbing onto the ropes that they were lashed with to climb over carefully to get to the other side.
Okay, yeah.
All the while shouting for Anita.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you start clambering up the up the rear rail and grabbing ropes and trying to climb up like vertically stacked pieces of like flat steel, which isn't great, but it kind of works. You know, you're trying to like figure out a route.
I think that where they meet together, he'd be using the ropes that tie them together as footholds and handholds to make his way up.
Oh yeah. Well, at this point, you're just sort of, I've just got you. You know, you're standing there like sizing up the climb, sort of thing. You're looking for places to go because I haven't made you roll anything to do it yet. So, Timi and Lamb, Zeke has wandered off to the back of the boat. He's screaming his head off. You've just seen Jerry bugger off over the top of the wheelhouse, and he's currently eyeing up a large like pile of salvage. You know, like he's like reaching up, like testing ropes, trying to find like a first foothold. What do you two think of this? I mean, Schmoopy's off in the fire somewhere. So
I think they're all a bit. But
you can still hear Schmoopy grunting away.
Is there any like accessible like trapdoors or whatever from on this side?
Yeah, there's a door.
Okay.
There's a door. Now that you've actually like thought about it, there's a door. If one was to go meta for a moment, you might almost say there is a door parallel to the one on the other side.
Oh. Might just try and go through that door and see where we get.
Okay, go over the door. And say, like almost everything else here, it's pretty heavily rusted.
Yeah.
Kind of old and buggered. It's painted exactly the same colour as the wall it's on.
Mm-hmm.
The only clue, really, besides sort of all the the patchwork metal here, that there's a door, is that there's a small porthole.
Right.
But there doesn't appear to be any kind of handle.
Okay.
There is a hole where a handle once went.
Right. And I stick my finger in the hole and try and pull the door.
All right, convince me. Why will this work?
Well, is it big enough for a finger?
Oh yeah, it's more than big enough for a finger. Yeah.
And just see if I can hook around something to be able to pull on the door.
Okay. So
Strength?
yeah, are you just going to use brute strength? Yeah, are you trying to manipulate something inside the door, or are you going to try and ram something in there and use it as a handle?
If it's like a normal household door without the handles on there, then it would be to try and get the finger in enough for it to be the other side of the hole, the other side of the door, just hook round like that.
Yeah. So as you sort of you can look through the hole. Okay, yeah. You stick your fingers, like 2 or 3 of them, through this hole. You manage to get your fingertips through on the other side. You pull very, very, very hard, and why not? The door, the inner surface of the door just sort of crumples. Clearly, the inside of the door is in far worse repair than the outside, and you basically like tear a strip out of the inside of this mechanism, and you come away holding a chunk of like horrible corroded metal and like mouldy wood. Right. There is now a hole big enough to just put your hand through the door, and you easily just pull it open.
Yay! I'll just turn to Timi.
You've essentially destroyed the locking mechanism.
I just point at it and go, "Ta-da!"
Just scooped out the locking mechanism with your bare hands. My God.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. As you open it, the inside of this door is utterly buggered. Clearly, at some point, they've taken this door off and turned it round. so the horribly corroded face was inside.
Hmm.
And they'd taken the handle off so people wouldn't try and open it anymore. It wasn't even necessarily attached to the hinges. It was just locked in place.
Well, they didn't expect me to come along with my fingers.
No. No. So yes, you brutally destroy a well-preserved and ancient door. You horrible, horrible man.
Well, I think that's nothing compared to the ship. The rest of the ship is at the moment.
Yeah, that wasn't directly your fault. This is.
Yeah, just doing my bit.
Yep. So yeah, you step into the dark of the wheelhouse. I mean, this isn't the level where the windows and the bridge are. They're up a bit, where someone can get a decent view. But you step inside, and you step inside, and there are like old tables, and there's clearly like a spoil pile where people have just chucked things they didn't want to eat every time they got a meal. So there are like fish bones and all kinds of filth thrown into the corner, and like the rotten, mouldy bits of like kelp-based food that they didn't want. But yeah, you are entirely aware that this is a mess. This is clearly a place where people have been eating, drinking, living.
Hang on, let me compose myself for a moment. So Lamb's just going to shout at the top of his voice Anita's name and see if he gets any response back.
Okay. Fuck it. Yeah, Lilth, give me a perception.
Okay. Yeah, that's a botch.
Watch. Yeah, you hear nothing. Timi, have you noticed Lamb busting this door in? Basically.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So at this point, I think probably Timi would shout back to Schmoopy to see if we can get Schmoopy to come back, because I think Schmoopy's probably been in the flames long enough.
Fair enough.
Not wanting to like kill off my new friend.
Yeah. Yeah, just give me some kind of like brute force charisma there.
Okay.
Because this is literally just like how loud and compellingly you can shout.
Oh, bollocks. I'm going to use my legendary point.
Okay.
Because I don't want Schmoopy to die. Which makes that 12 non-natural.
Okay. Fuck yes. Schmoopy instantly reappears out of the smoke on a crit. he just literally he walks back out of the smoke with your shredded Kelplar jacket. Apparently he's just been like flailing the shit out of something. Like one of the legs of his jorts are now burnt up to like the waist. You can see that underneath his jorts he was clearly at some point wearing boxers that are white, or were. Where he's wiped his hands, soot's actually come off of his pants. His hands are now filthier than his clothes. But yeah, he comes back. Your clothes, however, have just been like shredded on like red hot rivets as he's been flailing the deck. And he's like, sorry, it's a bit broken now.
That's okay, Schmoopy, as long as you're okay.
I can't recall if we decided whether Schmoopy had any hair, but now he plainly doesn't. I mean, like right down to eyelashes and eyebrows, possibly even nose hairs. he's almost uniformly blistered now. Where his legs and right hand previously were severely blistered with chemical burns, the rest of him is now uniformly blistered with burns. And he doesn't appear to be opening one of his eyes very often. You don't know if that's because he hit himself in the face with his flail or what, but you wouldn't put it past him, poor Schmoops. Yeah. He sees there's a hole now where there was previously a door. Like, who broke the boat? Completely oblivious to the enormous fire behind him, like, oh, it's broken! I'm not allowed to go in there.
No, I think you're probably allowed to go in there now.
You sure?
Yeah. I think we're the only people here, so I say you're allowed to go in there.
At that point, just the roll of like pure like bad luck. At that point, you actually hear someone start to scream from further forward on the ship. It's like, ah! Oh, there's someone else here. Maybe he would be angry with me. So I was like, oh God, it burns! Ah!
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about you, Schmoopy.
But if they know I've been naughty, they might tell Fuzzles.
I wish I knew who that was. I can't read my notes. I don't think they're going to tell Fuzzles. They seem a little bit preoccupied with what they're doing right now. Maybe if we go inside and we help them, then they'll be so pleased with you that they won't tell anybody. And then maybe you'll be allowed in there more often.
Or I could kill them.
Or you could kill them. Either way is good with us.
As long as Fuzzles doesn't know.
No. Fuzzles won't know. We won't tell him.
At this point, the screaming starts to like taper off. Ah, my leg! Ah! Okay, I will go in. And he attempts to squeeze through this door. That's not going well. He is too big for this door. This might be why he was told he wasn't allowed through it. And he sort of he turns sideways and goes in like one shoulder and head like first, and you're left with like a leg and a hip and one shoulder like sticking out of a door. I'm stuck. Help.
Okay.
Lamb, you are confronted with the head, shoulders, and one knee of Schmoopy. Timmy, you have the bum, leg, and back of Schmoopy with like one shoulder jammed in the top of a door.
Okay. If I shout, is Lamb going to be able to hear me?
Possibly.
Or is there too much Schmoopy in the way?
There is a lot of Schmoopy in the way.
Okay. So, whether this works or not, I'm going to shout in to Lamb. Lamb, you need to pull. You pull. On 3, I push, you pull. Are you ready? Can you count to 3?
And at that, we shall leave you and go back to Anita, who is because Lilth has been sitting there very patiently for some time. So yes, Anita drops into the darkness of below decks. Oh, well, that was. So yeah, you drop into darkness. You drop into smoky, diesely darkness. It's a familiar smell, based on your time, very recently on a very, diesely boat. This is clearly the same stench of fuel and oil that you just experienced on the Botland Bride. More so, but still. there is no light. The only light you're experiencing is the light streaming in. Well, I say streaming. The thin light that's making its way through the smoke that's coming through the hatch above you. You can see a rusted old ladder that you didn't use. And a metal floor. The metal floor doesn't seem in bad nick. Compared to the deck, it's alright.
Less so.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there not a load of light coming in from the big hole and the fire?
The area you're in doesn't appear to stretch forward that far.
Okay.
As I said, all you can actually see is just your immediate surroundings. The floor around you, the ladder behind you. They're sort of like dim suggestions of walls in reflected light, but not an awful lot.
Okay.
Were you the one who ended up with night vision?
No, that's Zeke.
Okay. Just wanted to make absolutely sure before we ventured any further into the very dark place.
Yeah, no, as far as I'm aware, I don't have dark vision.
Yeah.
Night vision?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yep. Okay then.
So I am going to place one hand on a wall and head
Inner wall or
towards...
outer wall? You'd be acutely aware of where the outer hull was.
Inner wall, because
Okay.
I'm aware that the outer wall is likely to get hot at some point.
Yes.
So inner wall, and I'm going to walk towards the bow of the ship.
Okay then. Yep. Yeah, you make your way forward a few meters and you come to a corner. It's still dark. It's a little hotter.
Okay, I'm going to continue around the edge of the room.
Okay. You continue around, turning on the left, obviously, 'cause you put your hand on the left wall. And you come to stairs going down.
I head down.
Down. Okay, cool. You head further down. Obviously, the smell of diesel gets more intense. It gets warmer, but in like a reassuring engine heat sort of manner, rather than fumes and burning and hatred and pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was up on deck. So yeah, and you continue on down. Continue along, sort of, let's say, sort of 5 odd meters, and the wall banks round to the right. It appears to be a stairwell.
I keep heading down until I can get along.
Okay, yeah. You turn. There's another flight of stairs down, and then immediately on the left there is a door.
I head through that door.
Okay.
I try to head through that door.
Yeah. Well, the door's not locked. The door's barely closed. Get the impression this might be where sort of how they vent their exhaust. There's sort of a rush of air coming through it. But yeah, you head on down, and you are quite clearly in some kind of engineer bay, sort of engine bay.
Okay.
There is light here, not a lot, but light nonetheless. There you see sort of you see heavily coated figures, sort of glisten, like hitting bits of machinery with mallets, and like squirting things from oil cans onto onto chugging engines, basically. It appears that you've ended up in the inner sanctum of the Rusties. No one's paying any attention to you so far, though.
She is going to shout, "We've been here, abandoned ship."
Okay, yeah.
It gets the crew off the boat.
Yeah, if they hear you over the engine noise. I'm just trying to work out. Actually, yeah, we will. We've established that we've got a precedent for this. Give me a brute force charisma roll. You're attempting to make yourself heard over a loud noise.
6.
6.
6.
Like the closest shuffling shape to you turns and looks, and like cups one hand to an ear. You can't see the ear; they're completely swathed in like a hooded jacket. But like, and you hear something that might be the word "what."
She's gonna move closer and yell again at the top of her lungs.
Okay. Yeah, you move closer. You move sort of into the light at this point, and the shuffling shape in front of you, is taken aback. Let's say by A, a rotter, and B, not a salty.
Wearing salty equipment now.
Oh yeah, but not one of theirs. You know, no, yeah, and also salties never ever come down here, unless there's dire need. But yeah, yeah. After a few minutes, they the big greasy mittened hands come on up and they take off like old school welding goggles. You know, they clearly don't have blackened lenses, but prise them out, and there are these two white circles.
I have no. Oh no, I do know what that was. I'm really sorry. That was my cat.
Oh well. Oh well.
Who just chewed on the USB hub.
Ah, well. Well, viewers, we're trusting you to be clever enough to understand. Or, in fact, maybe we'll go to break and sort this out.
Yay!
So, don't worry, this will not be a full break. There is a countdown timer on the break slide, but don't worry.
Ignore it.
We'll be back very soon when I get the cams all sorted again. And we're back! Which,
Hooray!
minor technical difficulties that I think I sorted out, but maybe not. Huzzah! And a cat did that. Wasn't my fault. That one.
Yeah, that one.
So, we have darkness, we have engines, we have salties, we have someone with green eyes and presumably quite pale skin, though it might just be paler than oil. Cool. So, you have you shouting into an oily person's face in a language they don't necessarily understand over engine noise. Cool. Yeah. Salty takes a moment. Seems to process what you've said and go, "What?"
Huge hole, fire, off.
Boom.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That this person seems to understand. They run off into the engine bay going, "Boom! Boom! Ah!" People start taking notice. These sort of shrouded, greasy figures. They start to quite possibly Kit. They start to sort of move towards a piece of machinery that previously wasn't chugging, and they start hitting it with hammers and attaching hoses to it. And these sort of sections of hose, they sort of screw them together, sort of fireman hose style, and start attaching them. And the person with green eyes, with their goggles up, hands you a hose.
Okay.
Boom! Go! Appears to be
Takes
the only
hose.
2 words in English he knows.
Yeah, take the hose, head back up the stairs.
every few steps, like you feel the jolt of another section of hose being attached to the hose head you're carrying. They've attached a few sections together, and now they're just chucking extra bits on the back as you go further up. Kind of like a small Victorian child with a chimney brush. Yeah, someone's attaching bits of pole onto the bottom. But hey, there you go. So you're heading back up the stairs, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right. Zeke, you're currently outside the ship. You were eyeing up footholds. You've just got round the back rail. So we're going to start to need... Argue me climbing. What are you going to use for climbing?
Could I argue physical endurance for the strenuous effort that it is with one arm to climb over this pile of junk?
I would say if you use physical endurance, you are toughing this out and doing it slowly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, okay. Yep, roll me a physical endurance then, because you're good at this now. Yes.
9 plus 7 for a 16.
Yeah, you're good at this now. Yeah, you managed to find like a fissure between two of the plates, and you kind of you brace your hand on one side and a foot on the other, and just sort of like wedge yourself up with your shoulder, like, and shimmy up between these two plates of metal. You're... Right, why not? You actually managed to climb to the top of the pile and sort of walk across it. And the plates of steel are probably about this thick. So it's enough room to put a foot on and just walk once you get to the top, which you manage after a while. However, you are sort of 30, 40 feet up now. You're not in the fire anymore. That's good. The smoke is sort of washing over that side of the boat, off to your left. If you stand facing the front of the boat, the smoke's all going off to the left. The fire is slowly climbing up the front of the wheelhouse, but it's nowhere near you yet. And you can easily look down the other side of the wheelhouse, and you can see Jerry standing on the deck, sniffing, presumably. You are sort of 40 feet up, but, sniffing at what looks like an open hatch on the deck.
Okay. At this point, Zeke, I think, would call Jerry back to him just with a good going boy, come here, and sort of as loud as he could to get Jerry's attention from this 40 feet up. Are there any signs that it was specifically Anita that went down this?
There are clear signs that the hatch was forced. It's not like Anita left a sign or anything, but but there is clearly a pole that has no business being there, like wedged into the locking ring of this hatch. It's now sort of hanging off at a sort of jaunty angle.
I don't suppose riding that 16 I could sort of make my way down the other side and sort of give a shout down the hole.
You could try. I mean, as you are standing on the roof of the wheelhouse, amongst sort of aerials and masts and shit, you are aware that the front of the wheelhouse, the bridge, if you will, at the top, does actually have windows that wrap around slightly at the top, so people can see up. if you wanted, rather than going down to Jerry, who you've called to, and he'll probably make his way, you could always try and bust your way into the top of the wheelhouse.
That seems like ostensibly a bad idea, because there is fire in that direction.
And there's fire on the deck, 40 feet below the top of the wheelhouse.
From my vantage point, can I see roughly how close it is eating its way through this gritty and dirty deck towards the magazine?
You cannot see the front of the boat at all. Your vantage point simply shows you a plume of smoke that's washing off to the left. You can't even see land from where you are. There is smoke. You currently have a vista of sea off to your right and smoke straight ahead and left. You can see the pier at the far end of the bay straight ahead, like, sort of on your horizon, over the plume of smoke as it washes off diagonally.
If this wheelhouse can see out, what can I see in as I glance in from my vantage point?
How carefully are you trying to glance in? How sneaky are you being? Are you just standing on the roof and looking down through the window? Are you gonna peek?
I think it would be a case of he's still unsteady with one arm strapped up here, so it would be a very ginger glance round the edge as slowly as one might manage.
Okay. As you peek down, you can see sort of consoles and chairs and a fair amount of discarded rubbish. Kind of in the style of like a trucker's cab, but at sea. So there's like old fag packets and empty bottles like chucked down behind the consoles, outside of the immediate working area. Kind of like when you see a builder's van with all the fast food like wrappers chuffed down the front where the windscreen is. And inside, you can clearly see there is at least one salty, quite well dressed salty, sort of older. This one's a man, but you can determine that this probably isn't the captain.
Okay.
They appear to be, sitting shouting into a horn that goes down to a pipe that vanishes through the floor.
And from what I've seen on this ship so far, would I believe that they were orthodox salty enough to have the captain lashed to the wheel?
From what you've seen so far, the majority of the crew is currently standing on dry land. As such, not salty orthodoxy would determine that no salty would ever stand on dry land. But, to the same degree, you've had people talking about this Fuzzles character and you haven't seen them or heard them yet.
Why not? I think at this point Zeke would have sort of weighed his options and gone, it's going to be as bad down there as it is up here, and try and bust his way into the wheelhouse itself.
You're going to try and bust yourself into the wheelhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are you going to do that with? You going to, thwack it with the butt of Tilly or something and just dive in through the broken window, or what?
I think he'd sort of, yeah, essentially find what looks like a weak spot and sort of maybe with the heel of a boot kick it in.
To be fair, this ship is not kept in anything like good condition. So there are probably quite a few like sort of spidering cracks on the corners of panes and things.
Yeah,
Probably spoiled for choice.
Where one of these sort of spider cracks meets a rusting ceiling.
Yeah, you let's say you find a place sort of over on the far left of this sort of like large panoramic front window. There is a section where the glass quite clearly doesn't meet the seal for it anymore. There's a gap, and a corner has been cracked out. Either someone stood on it or something's hit it at some point, and it's just the rubber seal is as weathered away to the point where you could probably lever this out, but it'd be a lot easier just to hit it. This unsupported piece of glass, you could just smash it in.
Yeah, I think in as with the case of any football hooliganism, just sort of one heavy boot repeatedly against it to try and force it free.
Okay, you're I'm gonna say because you're a little unsteady on your feet and you're up in the wind on this roof, you're gonna brace yourself with Tilly on one side. It's a little almost like a crutch. You lean back onto it and you raise your foot and you're just bringing it down, and we will go back to the two fools trying to lever a post-gen through a doorway.
Okay,
Right.
so we have done a countdown.
Yeah. We have Lamb pulling.
Did I hear it?
Yeah.
Was the question?
Oh yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I definitely heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so can we argue a strength check to
Yes.
shove this idiot
Yes.
through a door?
You can definitely
Fine.
argue a strength check to do something that's clearly brute strength.
Woo. 16.
8.
Okay. Well, why not? We're going to use the discrepancy between those two rolls as a possible damage total. You're rolling a d8. Because 8 points of Schmoopy have been pushed through a doorway, and 8 points of Schmoopy have not been pulled through. Schmoopy takes 4 points of damage. You kind of skin Schmoopy's shoulder a bit as you push it through the door, as Lamb doesn't pull to keep the motion smooth. And Schmoopy, a chunk of the skin on Schmoopy's shoulder comes off. Sort of a hand-sized chunk. And Schmoopy starts sort of groaning a bit. In the way of big tough men who don't want to be seen crying. Not good. Oh. Now you're confronted by the very sad face of someone who's just had a piece of their shoulder shaved off by a doorway. You want to try that again?
I'm very sorry, Schmoopy.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't get you through this door, you're going to be stuck here forever, and then the captain's going to see you, isn't he?
Oh no! I don't want him
So
to see me.
No. Let's try this one more time and see if we can get you through the door. Lamb, are you ready? On 3, you need to pull.
Are you ready?
Oh, God. Non-natural 12.
14.
Excellent. At this point, another say a rather sort of a nasty smear of knee gets shredded against the inside of the galley door. as Schmoopy gets sort of shoved through. He's now almost all the way through. It's more just sort of an awkward placing of an arm, like screwing up him getting through this door properly. But he does take another 2 points of damage. So,
Maybe do you think you can pull yourself through now?
my arm hurts.
Yes, but it's going to hurt a lot more if the fire gets to you.
Oh no! Not fire.
No,
Well,
not fire, but
fire.
not. No, as long as you get yourself through the door.
Stuck.
It's dark.
I'm stuck.
Fuck. Right, come on, one more time.
Schmoopy sort of managed to manoeuvre himself into like an arm lock, where like his elbow is like braced against one side of the door and his wrist against the other. So it's more a case of like uncoiling his arm and pushing him through. Like that's why he can't get himself through.
Can either of us get to his arm?
Yeah, you're pushing it.
I'm pushing it. Fair enough. In which case, then Timi's going to manhandle his arm.
Give me a
back.
grapple. This is literally grappling someone.
9.
9. Yeah, it's not pretty, but it's eventually effective. In the time you've been doing this, the fire has been spreading towards you. And just as you realise that it's starting to get uncomfortably close, Schmoopy suddenly isn't in the doorway anymore. And nor are you. And you both collapse through inside.
Excellent. Timi is going to slam what's left of the door shut.
The door is currently laying flat on the floor outside.
And she's going to prop it up. In a sort of attempt of, we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's a very heavy piece of like rotted old steel. Schmoopy sees what you're trying to do and reaches through and like does it with one hand, but he does it in the manner he puts his hand around the whole door, and like he probably hurts his fingers trying to pull it back into the hole. Oh! He's got like a nasty little cut on the back of one of his fingers. Oh.
Now do a medic on Schmoopy.
You can medic Schmoopy if you want.
And that's a crit.
Excellent. Schmoopy's finger feels all better. It's still cut. You haven't done anything. You have no healing supplies of any kind, but he feels better about it. You know, you've rubbed it with a less dirty cloth, maybe. Although all the cloths you would have would be soaked in seawater. Oh well, it kills the germs. So yes, you now have Schmoopy, Lamb, and Timi standing in the dark. Extra dark, in fact, because you just pulled the only source of light. Like the doorway, you just blocked it again. It is dark.
I haven't got any matches.
Do you have fire starter?
No.
No. Zeke has fire starter. So, Zeke has both night vision and fire starter, the two things that would be very useful here. You, on the other hand, no longer have your explosive jar.
No.
You have a large, heavy person who might know their way. No, because he's not allowed inside here. It's dark. Like, it's not all the way dark. Like, there are old, like, grotted up windows and there's fire outside. So there's sort of like dancing shadows, but it's still, you know, not great. You know, it's murky. Schmoopy sort of just turns to you and is like, what do we do now?
Okay. I could run to the other side of the room and hope I don't bang into anything.
Yeah, I was going to say. Okay, yep, you run. Well, you've said it now. You're doing it. Run to the other side of the room. Take a reflex.
10.
10. Yeah, you like kick a few things as you run across the room, but you don't like smack your shins on anything. And yeah, you hit the wall on the other side. Not too hard. It appears to be a wall. You know, it has sort of it has like seats like bolted to it. You know, in the manner of like sort of a little bit like booths in pubs. It seems to be like a seat all the way around the outside.
Yeah.
But the table's no longer there.
So there's not a door on the other side?
Not at the bit you've hit.
Oh. Okay.
You're not entirely sure you've run in a straight line.
Oh. I'm going to do that sort of mime artist thing of slowly piecing my way around the room, touching the wall until I find something that might seemingly feel like a door.
No. Are you going to go left or right from where you've hit?
Left.
Left. Yeah. You take a few steps left and you notice you've hit a corner. So you're like, shit. Go right. And it's only a few moments. You sort of walk along. And yeah, there's another door. This one has a handle.
I try turning the handle.
It swings inward nicely on oiled hinges, you know, with barely a squeak of protest. This is clearly the door people were meant to be using, as opposed to the other side. As you having opened it, you now realise that this door is actually painted a different colour from the wall of the ship. You know, in the same style as the rest of the plates on the outside. You know, it doesn't make it stand out immediately, but no one's tried to disguise it like they did on the other side.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So lights flooding into the room now.
Yep, glorious light. No, it's not even all that smoky. It's still quite warm.
Right.
And you can, if you want to step outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do that.
You step outside. You notice that maybe 5 meters to your left, there is a cherry red hole in the deck.
Mm-hmm.
The oily like grit on the deck that's just sort of everywhere seems to have burnt out here. And there's a very, very large hole. It looks very warm.
Just going to peer down the hole. See what's down there.
You peer down the hole. It seems to be going into like a main hold. You can see fire.
Right.
Mainly. Fire, molten metal, like burning supplies. But
I'm just gonna
really.
Gonna shout, Anita! Anything?
Nope.
She's not down there.
Probably for the best, really. Yeah. Not in the gigantic hole hot enough to melt steel.
Don't think she'd be calling back if she was.
Yeah. There would be some certain questions to be asked if she did. So yeah. What about the other two fools who are inside? Schmoopy's just sort of sitting there in the dark. He's not sure what to do. He's never been allowed in here before. Where we go now? I don't see anyone. Well, I see you, but no kill you.
Is there any way of us creating some kind of light?
I thought I opened the door.
Yeah, you've opened the door now.
You
There's
did
light.
okay. So there is light. So can we have a look around to see if there are any kind of supplies, or if it's not medical supplies, at least something that we can use as medical supplies.
As I said, there's a lot of like food waste, and sort of bits of stuff that things have been wrapped in, discarded bits of old clothing, waiting to get like patched up. I mean, if you were really at a push for bandages, you could probably shred some of the upholstery on the chairs, but it's like 140-year-old upholstery. It's not going to be, clean.
Yeah, it's not going to be massively hygienic. Okay.
Mm.
So we've found a hole that leads to certain death. There is fire coming towards the other exit.
Yep.
Yeah, we probably don't want to be in here, do we?
Well, as you continue to look around here, there is a stairwell at the back of this room.
Okay.
There are 2 doors, one sort of at either side, at the back, towards the back of the ship, and there is a stairwell in the middle. The stairwell goes both up and down.
Okay. And can we fit Schmoopy up those stairs?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Schmoopy can move around fairly easily here, just can't really go through doors. He's not good at doors.
Okay, in which case I will shout over to Lamb to come over this way. We're going up the stairs.
Right-yo.
We need to stick together.
Excellent.
Zeke's run away. Anita's burnt to a crisp. Let's at least survive this.
Anita, you hear this? As you're edging your way up the stairs, you come to some light. And you hear the words, "Anita's burnt to a crisp."
She shouts out, "No, she hasn't."
What?
There you
Anita,
are.
is that you?
Oh, who else is it going to be?
Oh,
A
could
lot
be
more cryptic
anyone.
people around here.
So
Well.
we have some players standing in the same room again. Yeah.
Yay.
And one standing on a roof about to do something terrible. But hey.
Right, so we found you. Hooray! But we've lost the other one. Oh.
In this hubbub, Jerry wanders on in.
Oh, there he is. Let's go.
Jerry wanders on in and sort of sits there looking at Schmoopy. Yeah. Before screw it, why not? Schmoopy climbs onto Anita's bag and just sits there.
She kind of reaches behind her and strokes the good head.
Yeah, good's a relative
pretty
concept, especially at sea. You get a little nip. It's not necessarily like Jerry's full force "I hate you." It might be a playful nip,
Yeah.
but in the moment, it's just painful.
Timi's going to take one of the attack, give it a bit of a bash on the nearest wall, and try and break it in two and hand.
To be fair, with your recent immersion in water, it's probably a little bit soggy.
Probably is a bit soggy, isn't it? So yeah, she's going to break attack in two and hand
You
each half
just sort of smear it.
to
there.
Jerry. Yeah. Just kind of smear it on the wall and then hand those to Jerry to
Jerry,
keep his teeth amused.
yeah. And Jerry, sort of plies his primary trade of food disposal quite well and consumes one of your vital life-giving tack. Yeah.
Anita's going to mention the fact that there's a whole load of salties below deck, and they gave her the hose that she's holding, and she's going to wander out onto deck and spray water into the hole.
As you are standing there telling everyone else about this hose, this is like a standard hose that you'd attach to the pump, the bilge pumps.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, you'd use it to purge. But in extreme circumstances, you take in water rather than pumping it out, and you use it to put out fires, or wash things overboard. So yeah, you have this. As you're saying, they're like, "I've got this hose," and you describe what's happened below deck. The hose sort of jerks in your grip, and starts to sort of vibrate slightly, and then sort of gradually more so.
She's going to leg it out the door and point.
Yeah, it sort of
Point it
rides in your
away
grip a bit.
from everyone. Yeah,
Okay, you lead to a door.
and point it vaguely towards the fire,
Yeah. Which door? Left or right?
whichever's closest.
Oh, the right one's open. So yeah, you go run to the
out the
open
right.
door. Yep.
Yeah,
You run out the door. You notice the greased head hinges at the corner of your eye. Like fuck's sake, and you point the hose down into the large hole. Or do you spray it around the room? I don't know. Are you going to try and cool down the metal, or just spray the fire?
spray the fire.
Okay, yeah. You just
She's
point
gonna
the
assume
hose
that-
at the flames and hold on.
Yeah, she's going to assume that the sorties know what they're doing, putting out fires on boats.
Yeah, this big ass like bucking hose eventually, just disgorges a horrible torrent of stinking water, and sprays it onto the fire. The fire doesn't seem to be abating. There seems to be a lot of steam, a lot of horrible smelling steam, at least initially, but yeah. And that seems to be it. The people from below decks don't seem to be coming up. And you can't... Anita, being that you went down there and warned them that they might die because the boat's going to go down, you're not entirely sure why.
Anita's going to shout to Timi to see if she knows any reason they wouldn't come up if I told them the boat was sinking.
Would Timi be it? Well, I suppose Timi would know that, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Because she spent a lot of time.
Yeah.
They might not. But I guess we could go down. Lamb and I could go down and speak to them.
Yeah.
I guess if we speak salty to them, we can convince them that it's a good time to leave.
Yeah, I mean, just on basic principles, when she described what she saw below decks, you recognised that as a Rusty's engine bay.
Okay.
Traditionally, Rusties never leave the engine bay. One might sometimes go to the bridge if they're really pushed, but they never go outside. An actual proper Rusty never leaves the boat they're assigned to. Ever.
Okay.
They go down with the ship because if the ship has sunk, it's their fault for not fixing it.
Yeah, we might be able to get them to leave, but it's doubtful. If they're like the Rust, was it like the Rust Mistress on the other ship?
The Rust Mistress on the other ship clearly was a lot more lax because you saw her on deck.
Yeah.
But O'Neill's ship tended to be a lot more lax about things. For a start, O'Neill wasn't like physically tied to the wheel.
Trying
Okay.
that they've got a transfer in a very unusual thing, but they've all got a transfer to another ship and see if they buy it.
Yeah, we could try that. They might not.
Okay, so you're going to
I
go
don't
down
want
to
to be
the...
responsible for another death.
You're planning to go down to the bows of the ship and convince the people whose holy pledge is to never leave it to leave.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we'll leave that there, and we shall resume with Zeke about to smash in a window with his boot. So Zeke, Give me a... No, okay, give me an unarmed CC. You are attacking this window with your boot.
That is a 6 in total.
Yeah, you you hit like the frame of the window rather than the pane of glass with sort of a dull thud. You're pretty sure no one's reacting? You can't hear anything? It's a little embarrassing.
Well, would I have seen Anita appear on deck at this point?
No, you're standing on the opposite side of the ship, looking down at a window.
Okay. I feel like at this point, given the fact that with a broken collarbone, that would have hurt immensely to have sent a shock from heel upwards. Zeke would just unholster Tilly and sort of take aim at this fracture in the glass.
Fair enough. Yep.
Big guns.
Yep. Oh yeah. I will not give you the benefit of the doubt on like a tech use for like this is basic engineering principles. No, this is a gun. You're using a gun.
14.
Yes, you definitely hit a window. Presumably the one you were aiming at. Alright. What was the damage on your big old gun?
It is...
More accurately, roll damage on your big ass gun.
D10. It's plus the plus my big guns total as well. Okay.
Because I'm going to roll a D8 to determine how many HP this piece of glass has, and you're going to roll damage.
9.
7. Yes. This window just blows out massively. You've just fucking nailed an already broken piece of glass. You fired a rifle at the curved bit at the top, so it just goes. The whole damn thing, it explodes into like spider patterns and then falls to the ground as granules. There's no chance that anyone inside doesn't notice. What do? You have mere seconds before someone will react.
The one person that I saw inside, I want to... Considering the fact that we were sent here to, for want of a better word, butcher these people, the person that is inside, I want to take aim at him as best I can, and...
He was on the opposite side.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, you went and found a weak spot in the glass. It was on the opposite side of the boat.
That being said, then, can I see the captain at the wheel?
You're currently looking down at a bit on the corner. If you jump down inside and turn around, you'll be able to see everything inside the bridge. Right now, you're like... Right now... If you picture it in a more understandable way, if you're standing on the roof of a car, looking down at like the driver's side window, like you don't know what gear the car's in, you can't see the centre of the car.
I will hop down these number of feet into the room below.
Excellent. You can like commando it, like swing in, rifle ready, like, aha! Or the best you can manage. You are capable of moving your strapped arm. It's just not very strong. Doesn't mean they know that.
Yeah, I think with Tilly hitting strapped arm, Zeke will sort of drop himself down with his good arm, pointing Tilly into the room.
Nice. I'm not going to make you roll that, and I think that earns you a legendary point because you are running blindly into an incredibly dangerous situation with no backup. So yeah, that definitely earns you a legendary right there. So yes, you jump down, but you're still you. So you jump down with your eyes closed, with a blood-curdling scream of what may or may not be terror. This needs to be done. Oh God! Yeah, your boots slap onto the metal deck. And I think we're going to rejoin the others. Everyone else, you hear a rifle going off. It's loud.
There he is.
It's very loud. You hear a rifle going off and glass shattering. It's from above you.
Do we recognise the sound of that gun?
I'm trying to recall how many times you fired Tilly. It's not that often.
No, the rifle is more for show, and Zeke is more about running away. However, he has used it in the marketplace, so everyone has heard it go off.
They didn't know where you were there. They were in a gunfight and they didn't know where you were.
True.
He did use in the alleyway as well, didn't he?
While you were running off, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, screw it. You guys can take a perception check to recognise Tilly's gunfire. Lamb, you cannot. You were not there.
Of course not, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to recognise anything because I've watched again.
Okay.
I don't have another point.
Yeah. Yes.
8.
Okay, yeah, Timi, to be fair, it was kind of unfair to ask you to roll. There is a hose in the room with you that's chugging and glugging water about. There is a fire like a few meters to your left. There are engines a floor below you, and your character is hard of hearing.
Yep.
So you're like, what was that? But you have no idea what the fuck it was. Anita, you're pretty sure you've heard that rifle before. That's definitely a rifle shot. That might be Zeke. He might be in trouble.
Gonna call out. That sounded like. Does she know what you call your gun?
No.
Okay.
I think so far, only the chappie that you blew up.
Yeah. That's the only person I can think of who you told the name.
Yeah.
Okay.
But because he specifically asked.
So yeah.
In that case, I'm just going to call into the cabin because I'm just outside it.
Okay. Lamb, what do you make of a rifle being fired?
I think we best investigate that.
Sounded like Zeke.
He sounds like a rifle? Okay.
No, it sounds like Zeke's rifle.
Okay. Let's go
Schmoopy
and
just sort
see.
Schmoopy's just worried at this point. He has no idea what the fuck's going on. There's a hose, there's people, there's this weird little animal. Like, there's fire still. He's still confused about that. He doesn't know where that happened. Why? What are we doing? What's happening?
I think we're going to go see what that noise is.
Okay. Come on, friends. And he's going to grab Timi. Like under one arm. It's like, come on, we've got to find out what's happening. And he's going to like run upstairs.
I'll follow.
Are you also in the room? I wasn't sure where you were standing at this particular point.
I thought we were all there.
Well, Anita was outside plying a hose. You hadn't said what you were doing since you opened the door.
I don't think I'd gone anywhere. I was just with.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He grabs you too. Like the minute you get within arm's length, he grabs you too. He can run faster than you. So he's just going to like grab you both, like, just run up the stairs with you. And he's just currently outside. He can't see you. He's not grabbing you. We're here to help. We'll kill you. And yeah, he pounds up the stairs. Up one flight, little corner, up the next, and you burst into a room with 4 people standing in it. Oh, 2 people are sitting down, one's standing, ostensibly lashed to some form of large wheel, and a person in very greasy, hooded clothes is on their knees with a gun to their face. And just as you take all this in, you see Zeke swing in through the window like John fucking McClane. Going, "Ah!" with his eyes closed. And I think we're going to leave it there for tonight.
What a cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so, if I can leave my mind out the narrative for a moment. Yeah, that was Monday Nights Get Nuked. I was the horrible bastard trying to burn you to death, who forgot to roll to see if the magazine went up.
Oh well.
Ah, someone said John fucking McClane. I said John fucking McClane. I'm not sure if that came over on the mic. So, you know, there was some yippee-ki-yay going on there. But yeah, I was thirsty. I was trying to burn you alive.
Hooray!
I didn't make the magazine go up yet because I think it's funnier this way. But yeah, I reunited you all. It only took 2 hours this time. As opposed to several weeks. So yeah, you can find me on Twitter at thirsty_BTP. Find me on bloodthirstypuppets.co.uk. You can find me here on Mondays when we do that, because sometimes we don't. We have lives at times. And yeah. So, who's going to jump in with hey, that was me. This was great.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey.
Ooh.
What?
2 of us.
Do you want to roll for it?
No, you go first.
Okay. Hello, I'm Kerone, and I have been playing Lamb. You can find me on Twitter at Kerone_BTP. You can also find information about Betrayed, which is my short film, at jqs.org.uk. We've recently announced that we've got a new singer and songwriter assigned to the project, one of which the singer is Christina Marie, who was in The Voice UK. She was a finalist on that, so we're quite excited to have her on board. So, yes, it's coming together, and early next year, you'll be able to pop along to a cinema if you're close to the one that's showing it and watch the film.
Presumably it'd have to be the cinema that is showing it, not just one near it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could do that as well.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun playing the game tonight. Yes, did a few things. Poor old Schmoopy and his lack of skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we're still alive for the time being. Not dead. And yeah, can't wait till whenever we come back. Christmas Eve, possibly. I don't know. For the next instalment.
Yeah. Well, there we are. See, there wasn't anything mysterious on that one. You've been sounding oh so very conspiratorial for the last few times. This time you just laid it all out. Oh,
I've had things that I couldn't quite say yet, and I had to be very careful what I did say for contractual reasons.
see, there we are. We've added the creepy mystery back in. You said contractual reasons. Right. Let's get the lads out of the way. Eivor.
I've been Eivor playing Zeke. That was enjoyable, and I cannot wait to spaff my legendary points in the next session to make something amazing happen.
Nice.
You can find me on Twitter at Eivor_DNABC. Here on a Monday night. Coming soon to my own channel on a Friday, and otherwise presently in the perilous south.
But not that far south. If you're a true southerner, that's still north. He's up in London. Far, far away.
It's far too far south.
Yes.
Anything past Birmingham.
I mean, there's several different weathers. I imagine it's somewhat confusing.
I've seen blue in the sky rather than grey and clouds.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's been disconcerting.
Pints have actually cost money. Oh. Well, there we are. Right. Who among us shall jump into the limelight next?
Okay, I'll go next. I've been Lilth. I've been playing Anita, and that was really good fun. And she's getting to be a firefighter instead of starting the fires. So that's good.
Yeah, sort of a little self-defeating, but fair
She's
enough.
rectifying her own mistake, and she's hoping the boat doesn't explode again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find me here on a Monday. You can find me on Twitter at Lilth21. And you can find me on a Saturday at 9 p.m. GMT on Kit Battlebeard's channel, who is in the chat right now, playing Defenders of the Dusk. And he can't tell me off for that because he always gets them muddled up as well.
Fair enough.
Yay.
Dusk of the Defenders. That
Yes,
sounds like an
Defenders
80s
of
movie.
something. Yes, it does.
The Dusk of the Defenders. When all hope was gone. Suddenly went into Gaius Decimus Meridius there. Sorry. It went from movie guy to Russell Crowe. Anyway, right. And last but by no means least, because we would never say that, that'd be terrible. We have Spanners.
Cool. I am Spanners, and that was so much fun. I didn't kill anyone again tonight, which is just, I'm losing my touch.
You very nearly killed Schmoopy.
I didn't mean to kill Schmoopy. I don't want to kill Schmoopy. Schmoopy's my friend.
You made him run into a fire
Yes.
with the intention of hitting it to death.
Yeah, but in my defence, Timi does have a very odd idea of friendship.
Mm.
Yeah, she did abduct a small child and try and make friends with him too. So
Fair enough.
it's a bit of a Green Mile friendship going on. Sort of squashing. Yeah. So before we go any further with that, you can find me on Twitter at spanners_ACX. You can find me here on Mondays. You can find me on Dark Dice podcast. Go and listen to it. It's on iTunes and Podbean and other things.
Yeah.
You can find me shortly on another exciting podcast coming this way, which I should be able to announce soon. And you can go and buy my book because it's been published.
Yay!
I know, how exciting. Go on to Amazon. Go into Amazon, that really unknown bookstore, I know, and search for Teach All About It. And don't click on any of the weird dog ones underneath because I have no idea why it comes up with dogs. but it's me and a ton of dog training.
Fair enough. So, there
Blame
we
the
are.
algorithms.
Yeah. Yes. Damn their algorithms. Yes. So, once again, we come to this point in the evening where I can't remember what I say. So,
Time at the bar.
time at the bar, bitches. Drink up. And fuck off. Cheerio. Oh. There we are.
Marvellous.
Mm.
Oh, not really.
I now have a post-it note on my desk that says to me, "Don't say time at the bar, bitches." So every time I do like a professional podcast thing,
Oh,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Well,
Don't say
it was about time someone reminded me what I was meant to be saying. So, there we are.
Yeah.
As always, guys, thanks for playing, because I know that
you're
lives happen, especially
Yeah.
this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good to know that I can still call upon my various geek hordes to play silly games with me.
Always.
Mhm.
Good, good.
Mhm.
How-
It's much fun.